Today we're sharing why early retirement might not be right for you.
We achieved financial independence and retired early last year, but it took a lot of hard work and sacrifice to get there.
Stay with us until the end because we're going to be sharing an alternative to early retirement.
To everyone following our story, welcome back. If you're new to our channel, I'm Gillian.
And I'm Stephanie. We're a couple who saved and invested our way to financial independence and now get to travel the world full time. So if you're interested in how-tos for early retirement or financial independence, you can hit that subscribe and notification for new episodes every week.
We did a good job saving and investing throughout our careers and were able to step away from our corporate jobs last year.
Obviously, we are big believers in the idea of becoming financially independent and having that freedom to retire whenever you want. So now why are we saying that early retirement might not be the right goal for everyone?
Even though it was right for us, there are many reasons why a person shouldn't retire early.
So these reasons could include giving up a career, facing financial risks later in life, being too focused on money in general, and lots more. And we're going to get into all of these today.
But first, our question for today. Are you planning to retire early? Yes or no? You can let everyone know in the comments. We always love hearing what your plans are.
Let's start with the potential loss of purpose that might come from stepping away from your career. So for many of us, me included, a career can give a sense of direction and accomplishment.
This is especially true if you've spent many years developing your expertise and get a lot of meaning from your work. You might find it difficult to recreate that sense of purpose during your retirement.
This was definitely one of my concerns. So my career meant the world to me. I had spent years not only focusing on my job, but building up my professional networks and generally establishing myself as an expert in my field. For a long time, I was very resistant to the idea of retiring early because I had made such a huge investment in my career. Also, I really had no idea what I would be doing once I stopped working. In fact, it was only when I was facing burnout at work that I finally became receptive to the idea of doing something different with my life.
That said, stepping away from work can leave a large gap in your life, especially if you're passionate about the work that you do. Unless you're someone who's really self-directed, you might find it hard to fill that 40 hours a week with something equally satisfying.
So unless you have something specific that you're retiring to, unless you figured out what that next stage in life might look like, retiring early might not be the right plan for you. Now that said, we do have a video about how to plan for life after retirement, which we'll link in the description below, and all the videos that we talk about today will be linked below.
The next reason why early retirement might not be the right choice for you is the potential for social isolation. When you step away from work, you're not just leaving your job, you're also leaving those casual interactions that are built into your day-to-day.
So whether you love or you hate your colleagues, the reality is that they do help fill in your day with a lot of social interactions that you might find difficult to replace. Above and beyond those workplace relationships, let's talk about your friends and social circle.
Most likely, you'll be retiring ahead of all of your friends. And even though you might have all the time in the day, they're still out there holding down their jobs and might not be available to meet up with you during the workday.
It's extra challenging if you're planning to spend your early retirement traveling the way we do. So when we left the city that we had been living in for the past 6 years in order to hit the road, we said goodbye to all of the good friends that we had made during that time. Of course, we stay in touch online, but it's not really the same as those face-to-face interactions.
As nomads who are moving to a new city every month or two, it is extra difficult to maintain social connections or even build new ones. Sure, we have a lot of virtual relationships with people in different time zones, but it's just not the same as spending time with your best friends in person.
The potential for social isolation might be an even more important consideration for an extrovert who really does need a lot of social interactions throughout the day. But really, whether you're extroverted or you're introverted, the truth is that it takes a lot of work to build a social network as a newly retired person.
We talk more about social isolation in this video, where we're reflecting on our first 6 months of early retirement. Again, if you're wondering if there are any alternatives to early retirement, we'll get into that at the end of the video.
But first, let's talk about the financial downsides of early retirement. The next reason to second guess whether early retirement is right for you is the financial risk involved. Feeling comfortable enough to retire early is really dependent on having a strong grasp of your future expenses and then budgeting for them accordingly.
If you're looking for more information on budgeting for the future, you can check out our video that's about coming up with the right savings amount for you.
However, the reality is that it is very difficult to accurately forecast for all of life's costs, like expensive medical care or needing to care for a dependent. And of course, there can always be the possibility of external financial events, like very high inflation or a prolonged recession.
If you want 100% certainty that you can handle any unexpected costs that come your way with no impact to your lifestyle, then early retirement might not be right for you. Speaking of finances, the next reason why you might not want to retire early is if you have concerns about being overly focused on finances for the rest of your life.
Retiring early usually means living within a budget that you set for yourself. Now, if you're someone with a very high net worth, that means you get to have a somewhat larger annual budget in your retirement years. And if you're someone with a net worth around $500,000, then that would be a smaller annual budget that you live within. Either way, you're going to be living within a budget the rest of your life.
This means being mindful of how much you're spending each month. Now, some people enjoy being so focused on finances, tracking their spending and playing with spreadsheets. Personally, I love it. I'm a naturally frugal person and I love having a sense of control over our finances.
For other people, being so focused on finances can really suck the joy out of everyday living. Not everyone is comfortable spending a lot of time reviewing their monthly expenditures and then having to modify their behavior to fit within a budget.
So if living within a budget for the rest of your life doesn't appeal to you, and if you want to be more free with your spending, you might not want to retire early just yet.
The final reason why you might not want to retire early is because the journey to get there can create a mindset where you're living for the future and not for today.
When you're so focused on a goal that is 5 or 10 or more years away, it can really overshadow your day-to-day life.
Once we had decided on our goal of retiring early, I became a little bit obsessed with counting down the weeks that I had left of work. In fact, I created a wall with Post-it stickers, and each one represented a week of work. And every single Friday, I had a routine of coming home from work, peeling off one of those stickers and throwing it in the trash. In retrospect, this was not the healthiest attitude towards the passage of time, and in fact, Gillian told me that then. So while it's natural to look forward to a big life change, I think that wishing away your time like that by counting down the months and days is not as healthy as maybe enjoying life now.
So after hearing all these reasons against retiring early, if you are still interested, we have a free 7-day course that provides exercises that can help with your planning process. You can check that out in the description below.
But if you are thinking that early retirement might not be right for you, here's an alternative that you can consider.
As we've discussed, retiring early can often mean making a lot of sacrifices for a future where you don't have to work again.
An alternative to this is focusing more on financial independence and less on the early retirement side of the equation.
This concept is called slow financial independence, or slow FI, and it's explored in a lot of detail by our friends over at The Pioneers. We'll put a link to their blog down below.
Essentially, slow FI means that you're prioritizing your happiness today over making extreme sacrifices for the future. So this might mean working at a part-time job, it might mean taking regular sabbaticals, and it might mean working at a job that has lower pay, but you're really passionate about it, versus working at a job that pays more, but you just hate.
It will take you longer to get to financial independence, but hopefully you're getting more joy and satisfaction along the way. You are still working towards your financial goals, you're just not in such a hurry to get there.
If you found this helpful, we recommend watching the next video right here. It's all about how to stay motivated on your path to financial independence. You can go ahead and click on it now.
And if you enjoyed this video, we would love it if you hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for a new video every week. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you back next time.